Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on NTA Nationwide. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. You're welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari is tasking the nation's youth as future leaders to take ownership of the next level enterprise by jealously guarding and supporting genuine efforts at building a sustainable future for all, granting audience to the APC national and zonal youth leaders and representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones. The president urged them to brace up for leadership as he sustains efforts at stabilizing the country and fighting corruption. We will bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. Voices for the establishment of Electoral Offences Commission and Tribunal are getting louder, with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security being the latest to make the proposal. Timothy Yusuf has more.
2019 was a very busy year for the Independent National Electoral Commission and the security agencies following the conduct of the general elections and the off-season governorship elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states. This first month of the year 2020 is not an exception, as the Commission is concluding arrangements for rerun elections in 28 constituencies across 11 states of the Federation in compliance with the orders from election petition tribunals. This first quarterly meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security for the year 2020 therefore sets the stage for further strategy towards a heat-free election.
Going forward, INEC has decided that although the Commission has no power under the law to cancel an election, it should not proceed with the process in any constituency where the safety of voters, our personnel, and election materials is threatened. Furthermore, collation of results will not proceed where the collation centers are invaded. No declaration of winners will be made where returning officers are threatened.
The committee's co-chair and National Security Advisor, General Babagana Monguno, and the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, advocated the adoption of a new approach to election security, leveraging on lessons learned from previous elections.
Without collaboration, active, sincere collaboration, we cannot instill confidence in the larger society.
No tout can come out and commit any electoral offense on the election day without connivance.
Concerns about illegal deployment of financial resources to influence the outcome of elections, including vote buying at polling units on election day, has brought in the heads of the nation's anti-graft agencies as new members of the committee. This is in the bid to tracking financial flows for illicit purposes, as well as the arrest and prosecution of perpetrators. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And now we'll now go to the NMC registration of UTME candidates. With few days to the commencement of registration for the 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination direct entry by would-be candidates, the head office of the National Identity Management Commission is witnessing an upsurge of candidates who want to sit for the examination. Olainka Ojo reports that the situation is the same in some parts of the country.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, last year made having national identification number compulsory for candidates participating at the 2020 and beyond examination.
If we do not face the difficulty today, we are sentencing these boys and girls to a future that will be bleaker than our own.
And this is what that decision is generating, as candidates rush to get the national identification number before the commencement of registration this January, with more than 1,000 registration centers across the country undertaking the exercise. This center, located at NIMSI's national headquarters, has 2 points that can handle more than 20 candidates at a stretch.
It's okay. My education comes first for now.
The rush notwithstanding, the exercise has been seamless. Even 21-year-old visually impaired Edoja Samuel, who wants to study special education, had a smooth process, as provision has been made for people with special needs as well.
It's less than 5 minutes. I want to help those that are visually impaired.
Since stopping multiple registrations and writing by proxy are some of the reasons for the national identification number for the exams, what is this youth corps member Joy John, a graduate of anatomy from Delta State University, doing here then?
I want to go back for medicine, so that's why I came here to register.
Despite the funding challenge the National Identity Commission says is impeding its operations, more than 50% of would-be UTME candidates have been captured, and all other candidates will be captured before the end of the scheduled date for JAMB registration.
In the spirit of the collaboration, we have given instruction that priority should be given strictly to JAMB and direct entry students who will be writing examination to register in all our enrollment centers. We had to also sit and provide contingency plans to address this upsurge.
What we did is to sit down and map these centers so that applicants will be moved from the JAMB offices to the nearest NIMC offices.
It is assurances like this that prospective candidates like Samuel wants to hear as they strive to meet the requirement that will set them on the path of their next level of education pursuit. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
We now join Olainka Ojo for live situation on the National Identity Management Commission NIMC registration in Abuja. Olainka, if you can hear me, what is the situation of things today at the NIMC headquarters? It seems we have a challenge of audio there. We'll now go straight to Enugu. Let us join Jude Abagu to tell us the latest of the situation there on the registration.
I can tell you that there is a lot of pressure on both facilities and personnel at the Enugu NIMC office due to the influx of prospective UTME candidates. There have been witnesses since the beginning of the week. Most of the candidates did not take the earlier call by JAMB to enroll and obtain their NIN before registering for this year's UTME. So they had to wait till this week to obtain their NIN, and they are rushing to the Enugu main office of the NIMC. They are not even aware that there are nearby centers where they can go and enroll for this national identity card registration. So there were a lot of people, most of them teenagers, coming to enroll and obtain this NIN since the JAMB's UTME portal will open by Monday. From what we are seeing, some of them may not be able to obtain their NIN before the portal opens on Monday.
Now, Jude, can you tell us what, aside that, what are the other challenges the students are facing in registering? What other challenges are there?
Them tell us that when they come, they were told to go back and come back the next day due to the large number of people that had already come to the office before them. So it is not possible for most of them to enroll and obtain their NIN slip the same day. Some of them said we have to wait for 2 to 3 days before they can collect their slip. Like some of them that came today, we have to return next week Tuesday before their slips can be ready. And another challenge is that they are coming from far places, not knowing that there are nearby centers in banks, some local government headquarters, where they can easily walk in and do the registration.
Now, Jude, can you tell us, compared to last year, what is the percentage of students coming to register compared to last year?
The coordinator of the NIMC office, Enugu, told us that they have never witnessed the kind of crowd they are having this period. That initially these prospective JAMB candidates were trickling in into their various centers, but reports she is getting even from the rural areas shows that there are a lot of people, a lot of JAMB candidates coming in to there's a kind of rush, last-minute rush by this JAMB UTME candidate. She says this is the highest number of people they are registering in one day. Like in each day, they are registering more than 100 people in a center, that their main center, along the Abakaliki Expressway. While in other centers in rural areas and in banks, they register between 30 to 50 people per day. So there is a lot of pressure on them to attend to these candidates before the portal opens on Monday.
Many thanks, Jude, for that situation report from Enugu. Thank you so much. We now join, let's get the situation in Kaduna with Major Ma'a. How has the registration been so far? Tell us.
Dear leader, a very warm welcome to Kaduna. The situation here in Kaduna is reflexive upon the policy pronouncement of JAMB that NIN is a compulsory requirement for candidates sitting for the UTME examination. Equally, that JAMB is not going to capture the biometric of such candidate. Rather, it will only upload the data captured by the National Identity Management Commission. The situation again is reflection upon the reality of Kaduna as the third most populous state in the Federation. Therefore, the demand for such requirement is very high here in Kaduna. But the authorities of South Sudan have taken very proactive measures in trying to meet up with these rising demands. What we heard from both the JAMB office and the NIMC office in Kaduna here is that they have embarked on a policy referred to as school to school, where they have reached out to students that are prospective UTME candidates. So far, they have captured about 30 to 35% of such candidates right in their various schools. At the moment, there are 73 active registration centers across the state, in addition to 3 mobile centers and equally some licensed registration centers that have been commissioned by the National Identity Management Commission for the purpose of this registration. So the turnout has been very high compared to previous years, according to the information we had from both JAMB and NIMC here in Kaduna State. But the authorities concerned have been very proactive, and they are trying all they could to meet up with the rising demands for this kind of registration. This is
if you can hold on there, can you tell us how smooth is the operation going on? How smooth is the process going on? Are there hitches? Are there problems?
It depends on, because according to, there are different situations unique to the various centers. Some of the centers are witnessing high turnout. As such, crises associated with card management are very visible. But in many other centers, the situation is going seamlessly. There are no high turnouts, and the equipment and personnel mobilized by the officials are working tirelessly, so there are no issue of crisis at those centers. But the centers that are witnessing high turnout of prospective candidates, that's why we have pockets of complaints, especially as candidates try to ensure that they get themselves registered on the very day they come. Some of them are complaining that they have registered, but after 2 weeks, they are yet to obtain the temporary number that they are supposed to be issued with. But the officials have assured them that everything is going to be okay. They are working tirelessly to ensure that the deadline is beaten in terms of getting them enrolled for smooth take-up of their registrations.
Much, Major Ma'a, for the situation report there. We hope you can still join Olainka Ojo for a situation on what's going on at the NIMC headquarters there. Olainka, if you can hear me, tell us what's going on.
The upsurge experienced yesterday here is no longer the case, as an additional center has been for D2B students. And to shed more light
for the challenge we're having there, let us have more reports on the ongoing registration. Now, more on the National Identification Management Commission registration exercise from other parts of the country. Linda Okere has more on that.
Prospective applicants for the 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination in Benue State are calling for the establishment of more registration centers to ease the process of obtaining the national identification number for the applicant. Elias have reports that the applicants described the current process as cumbersome and time-consuming. Lokoja Kogi State, Deborah Eyola Sama reports that the attendance rush and cluster of JAMB candidates being registered is gradually being contained as the authorities appeal for more support. From Yonogwa, Bayelsa State, Aya Praise reports that the situation is a mixed reactions, while in Abakaliki, the Bonny State capital, Chika Okore reports that the exercise is going smoothly. In Akure, Ondo State, Abiola reports that applicants complain about the delay in processing the cars. Maureen Leo Jom in Calabar, Cross River State reports that the hardship faced by candidates is as a result of inadequate equipment to fast-track the process. In Lafia, Nasarawa State, Ben Mitu reports that the state is witnessing large turnout of prospective candidates for the national identification number, while in Ogun State, Lekon Agbode reports that lack of equipment, manpower, and increase in number of applicants are some of the issues faced at the various centers. Linda Okorie Igwe, NTA News.
Joining me now via live telephone conversation is Fabian Benjamin, Head, Public Affairs for JAMB. Mr. Fabian, can you hear me if you're there? Okay, you're welcome to the program. Now, why is NIMC a requirement for this year's JAMB registration?
Say again, please.
Why is NIMC?
Let me hear you again.
Okay, I said, why is NIMC a requirement for this year's JAMB registration?
Well, first, it's by law, NIMC is in charge of all biometrics issues, all data capturing in the country. Secondly, the Federal Executive Council met and directed that all issues that have to do with biometrics, they refer to NIMC. So what we are doing is a directive of the Federal Executive Council. At the same time, it's in compliance with the law establishing NIMC. Okay. It is not for us to begin to have another arm that is taking biometric data and stuff like that. But besides that, we have also had a problem of multiple registration, examination infractions, identity theft, that we felt that if we partner with NIMC, we are going to address all those challenges. And at the same time, in the long run, address the problem of NIMC registration, identity capturing for the entire nation.
Okay, now, so far, what is the percentage of those who have registered?
Well, I wouldn't know that because we have not had a JAMB registration. So it's for NIMC to answer that, to know how many candidates have been registered on their database.
All right. We've heard about challenges being encountered by students. How are you dealing with these challenges?
Well, you know, typical of Nigerians, we had announced since August last year that we will be using NIM number for our registration. Nigerians will wait until, I know many will not believe that it was going to be possible. And they will wait until when it is obvious that, look, this is going to be possible or this is going to be real. Then they will all come out at the same time to beseech that particular office. I quite sympathize with what is happening with NIMC, with what is happening now, because I believe that no system will survive if everybody comes out at the same time to beseech such a system for registration. If we do things at the right time when we are supposed to do things, certainly we won't be having what we're having now. But in any case, we have made adequate arrangements for candidates to be registered. Our understanding with NIMC is that at the point of registration, which we have not commenced yet, when candidates come to our center and they don't have the NIM number, we will find a way. We have co-located all our security centers. We have linked them with the nearest NIMC registration outlet. Such candidates will be ferried to the NIMC registration outlet, and NIMC has promised that they will give them top priority in registering such candidates. What we are seeing now is quite unfortunate, and we believe that out of the panic nature of our country, we have just gone out to begin to create all this chaos. We have no further registration yet, and our registration is going to span 5 weeks. What that means is that you can register, when we start, you can go and register that day, or you go the next day. for the period of 5 days. By the time you take 7 days per week times 5, you have the number of days. So we believe that if people are patient enough, everybody is going to be registered.
Just in case people are not totally registered, is there likely to be an extension of the date for registration?
What we do as an agency is that we don't extend our registration. But what I can assure you is that we put in place mechanisms to ensure that everybody will be registered. And I want to appeal to Nigerians. We have not started registration yet. Our adverts are not out yet. Nigerians should exercise patience and wait for our advert. It's only our advert that can determine the date we are going to start the registration.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Nationwide. I've been talking on live interview with Fabian Benjamin, Head Public Affairs, JAM. Let's now join Ruth Ario in our Lagos studio for more reports on Nationwide. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. Revamping infrastructure, increasing the capacity of airlines, and investing in aircraft maintenance and repairs are factors key players believe will stimulate the growth of the aviation industry in 2020. Michael Olaleye reports.
With an increased patronage of 8.5 million passengers between January and June last year, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the trajectory growth in the aviation industry is visible, and a justification of the federal government's scale of preference in facilitating airport expansion and procurement of facilities in the new year. The Murtala Muhammed Airport alone accounts for 31% of the total air passengers in the country, and government's desire for the prompt completion of the new terminal is in anticipation of the geometric growth in the number of passengers.
The MD Fund too, of course, in the course of the year is looking at automation of all our access points. Automation will reduce interface.
In the area of infrastructure, there is a renewed commitment to upgrade facilities to meet up with global standard, as illustrated in the launch of Cat 3 instrument landing system, just as present initiative is yielding results which has resulted in zero fatal casualty in the year the Boeing 737 MAX wreaked havoc.
We have a regulation already in use, but we have a study committee already reviewing it. One of it is what President submitted by motion recently to the Senate.
Even with this glaring prospect of opportunities in the sector, experts say concessioning of airports, improved security and establishment of national carriers are imperative to stimulate growth.
Is to ensure that airlines don't die. So is to ensure that the airlines increase capacity.
In its blueprint for the sector in 2015, the federal government's desire of establishing an economic hub around the nation's airports is gradually coming to fruition, and experts say year 2020 is the period of consolidation. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Data is the new gold. As such, there is need for individuals to guard vital information. To this end, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, is further sensitizing data protection officers on the need to secure personal information acquired. Gathered in this hall are data protection officers from various organizations brought together at the instance of National Information Technology Agency, NITDA, to train, retrain, and create awareness on the need to be compliant with global best practices in regards to data protection. Chioma Okiagugo, head Southwestern Zone, who represented the Director General, said government is working towards providing a platform for individuals to protect personal information from third-party interference.
Data is the new gold, and Nigeria needs to be compliant with data regulations. Globally, we need to be competitive. It will help our business.
Immediately the NDPR was issued, we have had a lot of foreign investment because of that regulation. We have had jobs created in thousands, and jobs are still being created as we speak.
National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, is a government regulatory body saddled with the responsibility of securing vital information of all Nigerians and developing programs that cater to the running of ICT-related activities in Nigeria. Development of talents in acting towards nation building among Nigerian youth is the focus of the training program for empowering people living with disabilities and the less privileged in Lagos State. Uzezi Arure reports that the training was put together by legends of Nollywood.
Sustainable development programs are some of the strategies to grow national economy, while boosting citizens' entrepreneurial skills is the gateway. The annual intensive program by legends of Nollywood is to develop and improve creative talents, self-dependence of beneficiaries, as well as prepare them for roles in Nollywood.
If you take this man's leg from Pilgrim here, you must come back and reverse the shot.
Your viewers must think you are the armed robber, a thief, or whatever character you're portraying at that time.
The training, comprising 5 classes of makeup and costume, editing, script writing, acting and directing, serve as an eye-opener to the in-depth aspects of movie production.
With my concentration, I think it's going to help me.
I can be on a wheelchair, I can dress someone, I can make over to someone.
Some of the lines of professional facilitators say the classes will go a long way in assisting the less privileged to contribute to nation building.
It helps them to actually get knowledge, equip them, give them the basic knowledge that they need.
So I expect that they should be able to write movie scripts, which is my primary brief, but they should also be able to write novels.
The organizer, Paul Obazele, says the idea was born out of his passion to empower people who will not only be financially independent, but also soar in their chosen fields and be employers of labor.
Legends of Nollywood has always been tied to making a better place for humans as a result of a challenge I got from a blind man.
The training is an annual event. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after this break. Stay with us.
They swore an oath to serve our fatherland and defend the people. They traded their freedom, comfortable homes and mortgaged their lives on the battleground for our unity and peaceful living. These are the great, fearless, loyal and committed Nigerian armed forces who risked their lives courageously to safeguard our borders. But in the line of duty, many never returned. Nigerians, arise, let's celebrate our fallen heroes. Put on the Remembrance Emblem with pride to support the incapacitated and families of our fallen heroes.
It is indeed befitting to honor the memory of the gallant martyrs and men who paid the supreme sacrifice to keep the country united.
President Muhammadu Buhari enjoins all ministries, parastatals, religious and corporate bodies to donate generously to the Emblem Appeal Launch. Send your donations to these accounts. Account name, Emblem Appeal Launch. Account number 393-200-7526. EcoBank Nigeria PLC.
My name's Mr. Muftau Abiodun Balogun. We started this business 4 years ago, and this is the production outlet where we do about 4,000 to 5,000 birds per day. With the closure of the border recently, we've been experiencing massive surge in demand. Our sales per day now is going to be between 15 to 20,000 birds. We needed to expand all avenues because of the multiplier effect it's creating. And the most interesting thing about this closure is that many of my farmers today are farmers we recruited recently, and they are young graduates. What the government is doing will lead us right. And I can tell you, if the government sustains this thing, sky will not even be our limit.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over...
You're welcome back and thanks for staying. We now bring you our first report from Adamu Sambo, State House correspondent, where President Muhammadu Buhari granted audience to the APC national and zonal youth leaders and representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones.
I assure you that if anybody seems to be spared, it's because we haven't caught up with them, and eventually we shall.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the youth leaders that having sworn by the Constitution to defend the interests of the country, he will remain firm, focused and relentless in delivering results. He said efforts are genuinely securing the country, stimulating the economy and recovering the nation's assets from those who abuse trust will be intensified. The president, however, said with certainty that he and the present crop of leaders will leave the stage someday.
Whether we like it or not, we are going to hand it over to you. It's up to you to stabilize this country. God has given us a large country, fertile, with a lot of resources. All we need is to ensure that whoever gets leadership at whatever level is held accountable. And that is your duty. You don't spare anybody across ethnicity, religion, or whatever. People who are in charge of resources at whatever level must be held accountable.
President Buhari told the younger generation to beware that some interest groups will come up with divisive tendencies, advising them to at all times keep a broader view of the country as one entity and continuously de-emphasize ethnic and religious backgrounds in nation building.
We fought a civil war. At least 2 million Nigerians were killed. And I don't think anybody should joke with our firmness as one country.
The national youth leader of the APC, Sadiq Shuaibu Abubakar, congratulated President Buhari for winning the presidential election in 2019, assuring him that the youth will continue to support his policies and vision of greatness for the country.
In recognition of your passion to carry the youth along in our administration, we wish to seek inclusion of the young people of our party at all levels in government. These are the people who believe in your vision. These are the people who believe they can get things done for you, and on behalf of the party we move forward.
The youth leaders acknowledged the giant strides recorded by the Buhari administration so far in the fight against insecurity, corruption and smuggling, economic diversification, as well as strict adherence to the rule of law. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has again assured that the Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, will be reopened before Easter period. The managing director, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Captain Rabiu Yadudu, gave the assurance during an interaction with the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has more.
At the Akanu Ibiam International Airport in Enugu, the managing director of FAN said entail general infrastructure improvements for air safety and security in line with standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization.
Works on the pavement, works on the apron, on the drainage system, on the perimeter road, on the fencing. The GAT lounge in Enugu is also being attended to. Then there is the clinic. The airport has no clinic. We also attend to that during this work. We want this runway and all other works to be ready before Easter.
The matter started with the governors of Southeast meeting with the minister and also the president on the issue, and the president graciously approved the money.
The consultant appointed by Southeast governors was part of the meeting to offer needed assistance to fast-track the project completion. Other issues that came up during the interaction were the cancellations, delays and diversions of flights recently experienced. The committee expressed displeasure over the recent diversion of an international flight from Lagos to a neighboring country.
Why British Airways elected to go to Accra in the evening and come back during the day with the same weather conditions That would have been a corporate decision.
And going to Accra or Ghana is not about the Accra or Ghana being much better. It's about when you divert an aircraft, you are looking for the nearest suitable airport. And maybe the nearest to Lagos is Accra. If Abuja was closer, you would have gone to Abuja.
Both Fan and Nama say all equipment installed across airports in Nigeria are of international standard. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now to matters concerning security. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai has lauded officers and men of the Nigerian Army 13th Brigade for a successful conduct of Operation Crocodile Smile 4 in Ikang community of Bakassi, local government area, Cross River State. The Chief of Army Staff, represented by Commandant Amphibious Training School Calabar and Brigadier General Joshua Nimiel, attributes the success recorded during the operation to the willingness and determination of the soldiers to curtail crime in the area. Achibok Basi reports.
The bonfire night is part of activities to wrap up exercise Crocodile Smile 4 by men of the Nigerian Army 13th Brigade. And this exercise has been adjudged as a huge success.
The success of the exercise has not been without the commitment and conduct of men of the 13th Brigade and other security agencies which make up the super camp, a concept designed for the officers to work in synergy with other security operatives in the state.
Based on what I see physically at the super camp, the brigade has good understanding of the concept. I am most particularly impressed.
Inaugurated about 3 years ago to tackle armed banditry, kidnapping, cultism, and other forms of criminal activities, the officers recorded 35 arrests, recovered 109 locally made guns with 345 cartridges and 2 AK-47 rifles during the operation.
The first phase, which lasted till the 7th of November, was actually designed to shape the entire environment and, of course, some civil military cooperation activities
to further protect the state and safeguard its citizens during the Calabar Carnival. The exercise was extended to January 2020. The evening afforded the officers an opportunity to unwind. In Calabar, Achibombasi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, airstrikes being conducted by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole as part of the ongoing Operation Rattlesnake 2 have continued to yield results. The latest of this is the destruction of portions of an Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, tactical headquarters and neutralization of some of their fighters at Kularam on the fringes of the Lake Chad in Borno State. In a statement by NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibukunle Daramola, the operation was executed in 2 waves of attacks carried out on the 4th and 5th of January 2020, following successive days of intelligence missions which led to the identification of compounds within the settlement where the terrorist leaders were housed. Subsequently, the ATF detailed fighter aircraft to attack the identified hideouts in different parts of the settlement, destroying the structures and killing several terrorists, including a few that were spotted near a cluster of buildings at the northern edge of the location. The NAV says it will sustain its air campaign in synergy with ground forces to shape the battle space in the northeast for the effective conduct of further ground and air operations. In a deliberate attempt to improve educational system in the Northeast, the Victim Support Fund is training teachers on classroom management, safety and psychosocial support in areas affected by insurgency in Adamawa, Borno and Yobe states. Abdullahi Dalwa completes the report.
Activities of insurgency in the Northeast has affected the socio-economic and educational system of people in the affected states. In view of this, 44 teachers in Adamawa, Borno and Yobe states have been trained on modern techniques and skills of classroom management, safety and psychological support to enable them restore the glory of education in the affected areas. The training of teachers will no doubt go a long way in building capacity of teachers and improve the educational standard in the region.
It is aimed at building the capacity of the teachers, making them to rebound back from the effects of insurgency and the trauma we've gone through.
The innovation were there for us to go and instruct those affected area people.
VSF to consider the remaining 14 local government, they should be considered and also be trained.
The Victim Support Fund, which facilitates the training, say it will continue to intervene on the areas of need so as to improve the living condition of people affected by insurgency.
You should take this training very, very seriously, and you should regard it as an opportunity that came by unto you.
We set out not to provide mere palliatives to victims of insurgency for a much longer term remedy to the challenges of the insurgency.
In Dola, Abdullahi Ayubadalwa, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the NTA. Time to join Chinanya in Enugu for more on Nationwide.
State Governor Ifeanyi has lauded the initiative of establishing an entrepreneurial university in the state to produce skilled graduates. Laying the foundation of the Sam Maduka University, the governor noted that a university that is entrepreneurial in content is what Nigeria needs. Susan Eze has details.
That was history being made as Governor Buhari laid the foundation of the Sam Maduka University. The governor commended the founder for envisioning a university that is entrepreneurial in content. The vision tallies with the state government's agenda on education. He expressed optimism that when completed, the university the much-needed manpower for industrial and technological growth of the country. Appreciating the Enugu State government for providing their.
We apologize for the freezing challenge there from Enugu. Let's take another break. The news continues shortly.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first, get it fresh.
We have come to the end of another successful year, and we wish to appreciate all those that mean so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2019 great. Together, we shall make 2020 even greater. That is why we say, thank you. This is wishing you Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Thanks for staying. It was a defining moment for two directors of NTA when the beginning and the end of their careers were put in retrospect by management and staff who bid the duo farewell. Abubakar Usman Akwanga has details.
Directors of Engineering and Internal Audit, Mr. Ruben Bala Ajamak and Mr. Yusuf Tafa Baliwa, are bowing out of NTA after reaching the mandatory retirement time. But for the laws which must be followed, the executive directors, and other staff of NTA wouldn't allow them go. They took turns to eulogize the duo, whose services they described as worthy and immeasurable.
So it's something of great joy to start a career in NTA with good health, and then you end well.
Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, who also acknowledged the impact of the retiring directors, say they have carved a niche for themselves which will linger on for a while.
It's the closing of a chapter in your lives. Another chapter is certainly going to open. Anybody who can put up with NTA for 35 years and retire gloriously and majestically, as you guys are doing, you can survive in any environment.
The overwhelmed retirees expressed gratitude to God, families and colleagues for their support and understanding.
I'm just stepping aside. I'm there for you. I'm always there for you. You can consult me. You can call me for any assignment that you feel I'm capable of.
Thank you for the show of love. Thank you for your support during our time.
Now they don't have to wake up to the sound of alarm, clock beaconing on them to work, or live a life made only of weekends. But one thing is certain, legacies of achievements, encouragements, and work ethics they are leaving behind will definitely inspire future managers for enhanced productivity and excellence in service delivery. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Apanga, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abubakar. Asma'u in our Sokoto Network Center is standing by with more reports.
Hello, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State Government has expressed willingness to partner relevant Islamic organizations towards moral rejuvenation, especially among youths in the state. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that this is coming as leadership of the Sokoto State chapter of Muslim Student Society of Nigeria paid visit to Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol at Government House, Sokoto.
For decades, one of the fundamental roles of various Islamic organizations is to, among other things, shape the society for the better in accordance with Islamic tenets. They also contribute toward curbing moral decadence, youth restiveness, and all other forms of social vices.
We are willing to continue to partner with the MSS and such other bodies in our effort towards moral rejuvenation of our youth in Sokoto State.
With the unflinching support we are witnessing today, it is safe to say that Muslim Student Society of Nigeria has enjoyed and will continue to enjoy 100% support of our people.
The leadership of the state chapter of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria were at Government House, Sokoto, to present to the governor 3 consecutive awards as overall winners of the National Quranic Recitation competitions held at Jigawa in 2017, Katsina 2018 and Taraba in 2019 respectively. The governor donated an 18-seater bus and financial support to the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria office in Sokoto State. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government is set for full implementation of International Public Sector Accounting Standards (IPSAS). Part of the strategy to achieve the goal was the executive briefing of chief executives of ministries, departments and agencies at an event organized by the state government. Muhammad Nasser reports.
The government of Nigeria has in July 2010 approved adoption of international public sector accounting standards for private and public sectors in the country. In 2011, a subcommittee was set up to provide a roadmap for the implementation of IPSAS among the three tiers of government in Nigeria. In the light of this, the Sokoto State government has expressed its readiness to ensure full implementation of the system. The system is to improve the quality of general purpose financial reporting by public sector, leading to better informed assessment of resources allocation decisions by government.
And it's a legacy, inshallah, that is going to start in Sokoto, which is transparency and accountability.
Full implementation of the system will build confidence in donor agencies, improve service delivery, enhance public-private partnership, keeps abreast of latest market trend, and increase foreign direct investment, among other benefits.
It is a very good development that will ensure accountability, transparency, and efficiency in the management of state resources.
We, at the stakeholders in our respective ministries and departments, will surely do our very best to ensure that we comply with the procedure.
And gradually, with training and retraining like this one, and guide from the Ministry of Budget and Finance, by 2021, I think everyone would get to grasp and be familiar.
To ensure effective implementation, officials that are directly involved are currently being trained, after which examination will be conducted for them to ensure accuracy in the system. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasser, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. The news will continue in Abuja with Lydia. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Asmao. Now foreign. Brexit gets autonomy following approval of Britain's parliament. Details of this and other stories on Foreign News with Uche Ugochukwu.
Hello there. Britain's parliament has approved Brexit, allowing it to become the first country to leave European Union by the end of January, ending years of arguments that toppled two governments and divided a nation. The House of Commons erupted in cheers after members of parliament ratified Prime Minister Boris Johnson's divorce deal with Brussels' 330 votes to 231, drawing a line under an extraordinary era of political drama and chaos. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a symbolic resolution seeking to limit President Donald Trump's ability to declare war on Iran. The measure passed the Democratic-run chamber 224 against 194, but faces an uphill climb in the Republican-held Senate. It aims to mandate congressional approval for any conflict with Iran, except in cases of an imminent attack against the U.S. Still on parliamentary matters, the Ethiopian parliament has passed a law to regulate gun ownership to curb increased regional ethnic violence. The new law requires that each region outlines the legal age that one can acquire a gun and also limits the number of guns an individual can have. Defaulters will be sentenced to 3 years in prison, and arms traffickers would face prison terms of 8 to 20 years. And on the Ukraine air crash, Western leaders say evidence suggests an Iranian missile brought down the passenger plane that crashed near Tehran, possibly in error. Iran's civil aviation chief, however, said he was certain that the plane was not hit by a missile. That's it from here. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
We now take sports update.
Achieved high productivity in capacity building in 2019, the Nigeria Tennis Federation is working towards consolidating upon its core areas of grassroots development, exposure of athletes to national and international competitions, upgrade of coaches, umpires and facilities for the good of the sport in 2020 and beyond.
Hopefully we identify some players that we could push up to high performance centers.
Former world #1 and 23-time Grand Slam singles champion Serena Williams faces Amanda Anisimova in the second semi-final of the Auckland Classic Saturday, following her 6-4, 6-3 quarter-final defeat of Laura Sigmund. 18-year-old Anisimova, who has a childhood dream of playing against Williams, triumphed 6-2, 3-6, 6-4 against Eugene Borchard. Meanwhile, the first semi-final will see Caroline Wozniacki, who powered past 4th seed and 2019 champion Julia Gorgeous, 6-1, 6-4,